Hey, good morning. Good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Yes, I'm up this morning. Got up not too long ago. Today is July 7th. Wow. 2022, and the time is now 4:22 a.m. Yeah, it's still dark out there. Sunrise is about an hour. This is always a special time for me. Good morning, all. I hope you all are doing well. Yeah, I don't want to stay on too long because I still have to get ready. I want to go out. If it's not raining outside, I want to go out and take the dogs out. Yeah, we've been indoors for a couple of days, and I think they're getting stir crazy. They need to go out. See, dogs are smart. They know, mommy, please let's go out. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes our body feels tired and just needs a little rest. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. I hope you're going to enjoy this conversation. Yeah, this is an important conversation that I want to share with you. Yeah, I turned on, I had my tablet next to me in bed. Yes, good morning, viewers. Good morning. Always good to see you all coming on. Yeah, this is going to be a great talk. I don't want to stay on too long, but yes, I think we're all going to be blessed with this. I had my tablet next to me in bed, and I turned it on, and I saw that I had gotten a message, um, someone responding to uh, one of my comments, not on my any of my videos, but um, a fellow YouTuber, and I forgot about this person. And what I love about social media, it kind of like time stamps something, like when something was uploaded, or how many months or years something was uploaded. And I saw that someone was responding to a comment that I gave to this YouTuber, and I appreciate the response. It wasn't from the channel, but another admirer of the person's work. Yes, good morning, viewers. So, yeah, let me back up a little bit. Well, it was just a couple of months ago, but it seems like a long time ago. Time is speeding up. If some of you haven't noticed, boy, time is really moving fast. So my sense of time. Hey, Kendrick. Hey, good to see you. Thank you for coming on board. Yes. Yeah, this is an important message, I think. Um, to understand myself and all the other artists out there. Yeah, something that I'm learning. Well, about 3 months ago, I came across a video from a man, his name, the artist. He's a jeweler. His first name is Pablo. That's all the name I know how to pronounce. And I don't want to bastardize his last name. He has an exotic last name, um, Latin-based last name, and I don't know how to pronounce it. But the first letter in his last name is the letter C as in cat. Okay, that's all I'll say. um, what an artist! He's a jeweler, kind of good looking in my opinion. He just has that masculine look. They got a beard and a full set of hair and those strong arms. Women like that. Women, real women like those masculine looking guys. They're those alpha looking males. I don't know. It's just maybe a little fantasy that I have, whatever. But anyways, the particular video, he's an artist. He creates unique pieces of jewelry, and it's like a traditional shop. Um, he has all high end equipment. Boy, I know the expense for that shop. It's a professional shop. Um, Equipment that would be in the thousands. See, good equipment, it's worth thousands of dollars, priceless. Oh, okay. Yeah, when I said the name artist to all you artists out there, um, I said it collectively because see, art is infinite. Um, Someone who repairs cars, restores cars, let's see, antique cars. I would call him an artist or her an artist, right? But this was a jeweler, fine jeweler. He works with gold and diamonds, etc. He is a fine artist. He designs the piece and then he constructs it, and he has all the equipment to do it. And I used to work, excuse me, I was raised in a household um, of an artist. He started out literally as a fine artist. He went to school to learn art. He, um, he, he went to school here in New York City. He went to City College. That was considered the poor man's Harvard. It's in a predominantly black area in New York City. But you have all different types of people go there. But I'm just letting you know, for historical purposes, um, City College was coined the term the poor man's Harvard. It was a fine institution, City University. It's part of the CUNY system. It's one of many colleges that make up the university. Excuse me. And he studied fine art. So he had to take sculpture, painting, drawing, history, the works. And then he got his teacher's degree. So he became a licensed teacher. He taught art. And then um, he, he moved into the administration, and then he moved up the ladder and became a principal of a high school, major high school in New York City. And so I was exposed to art relatively early. What I could remember, it seemed like for me, everything seemed to happen. My memory of things, what I was exposed to was at the age of 8 or 9 years of age. And I remember, he was exposing me to different art. Like I remember trying to draw. I remember I drew a little squirrel. I like little animals. But yeah, I remember um, the struggle of a little girl, a little person. See, sometimes in artists, an artist could have an adult mind, like they had these big ideas, and but a little tiny body, and the body's not matured to be able to do what they want to create, and so it can bring about feelings of frustration. That your worst enemy is yourself, because you have these big ideas, but you're just a little person, you know, and so you learn how to hold your pencils, how to, it's about self-discipline. An artist is someone who masters self-discipline. I'll repeat. An artist is someone who has mastered personal discipline. I could say that. I mean, that's a word of knowledge right there. That just came out of the air. See, a lot of times I do these videos, live videos. The words just come out. It's not. I don't have anything, any script or anything. I talk from my heart. I've learned to talk from my heart and not from a script. But yes, you can use write notes of certain points that you want to bring out because you don't want to forget. And yes, Spirit Journey forgets. Okay. But so let me say up front, I want to thank all you artists out there who did not give up, who've mastered themselves to produce excellent works of art, even the art that you wear. Okay, the art that's on the wall, the art is, in making fabrics, the art is, let's say you're a sports person, your body is your art, etc., etc. That personal discipline. I just want to thank you for not giving up. Yeah, and I wouldn't like that because, see, I was watching that YouTuber, and it was 3 months ago, evidently, because when I look on my statement, thing that I wrote, it said 3 months ago. And boy, I forgot about that YouTuber. And it comes to my attention because, see, someone wrote a comment about what I said, my comment to the artist. And it was well written, what they wrote. It was constructive. The person was trying to encourage me. And that, uh, not that he was making an excuse for what happened to me as a teenager. See, what happened to me, what I was responding to, like I thank the artist, um, the jeweler, his work was fantastic, and of course it was extremely well, what do you call it, videoed. The camera angles, the music in the back, it was very professionally done, very, and I mean he has like 3 or 4 million subscribers, so that's a heavy player out there. They too, I guess, enjoy his work. It's like art watching him, watching the video of him creating a masterpiece. And so that one, Pablo was sharing, it was entitled his most expensive piece he made. And it was a diamond ring, all hand done. Every piece of it hand done. And um, so I shared with Pablo that when I was a teenager, um, I I I wanted to explore jewelry making. Yeah, it was right after my um, coming back to a from college. I had an opportunity um, to go away to school for 1 semester. Like the first 2 years, I went to a local college here, and I always wanted to go away. That was a fantasy I had. I went away. I wanted to always go away to school. I wanted to get away from home. Yes, I'm being honest. I didn't like home life, and I wanted more out there. I wanted to see the world, and I wanted beauty also. I wanted to be around beautiful things. And so I graduated from college. I mean, I'm sorry, I graduated from high school at 17, so I was still a minor. I was still a minor, and um, my father said I could not go away to school. And that school had art. It had an art department too. It wasn't far away. It was just an hour and a half ride or drive away, actually. But back then, kids had to listen to their parents. And I mean, I went to a good school here in the city, one of the best schools at the time. Um, yeah, I went to Hunter College. Um, And I actually was to go to a different school, um, a college nearer where I live, and I didn't want to go there. And but, it was, to give credit due. I gotta give him honor in this. My father got me into the local school that I wanted to like. There was a school that was away that I got accepted to, but there was also another college I had applied to, one of the colleges here in the city, and I didn't get the first choice, but um, which was Hunter, because I wanted a school in the city. I didn't want to go to school like right near where I live. I want, it was the area where I lived. It was it's a poor area, and I am tired of poverty and depression, and the way that they think in the area is very limited. I didn't want to be around poor thinkers, poor neighborhood, poor this, poor. Nuh-uh. I wanted the sky the limit. So so initially I went to, my father got me into the school. Yes, it does make a difference if your parent has connections. And yes, he did have connections in New York City. He did. And so more power to him. Yeah, we didn't get along. But and he passed away going on 13 years. Yeah, he passed away almost 13 years ago on July 11, 7/11. So yeah, that anniversary is coming up. So peace and power to you, Dad out there. Peace and power to you. Yes, thank you for getting me into the school, to Hunter, you know. And so I attended Hunter for 2 years, and I was still, I didn't want to stay, and there was some problems at home, and and I got a little job, a friend of the family got me a job before school started. I started my first little job in August, and college started in September. So for 2 years, I was working, going to school, and I wasn't doing well. I was just floating by. I didn't have that discipline. So anyway, I'm sorry. I know I kind of going all over the place, but it's to give you a background where I was coming from. But in my heart, I just wanted to get away. And after 2 years, I got the courage to say, I'm going away, you know. Um, so I did go away. I was only able to afford one semester. And yes, it was a learning experience there. And in that school, they had an excellent goldsmithing and silversmithing program. They had an art school. Oh, yeah, it was fabulous. Yeah, when I went there, though, I wanted to go uh, study science. I loved science. I was a science person. Um, yeah, I did well in high school in science, but everything else I did horrible. I didn't apply myself, but I had these fantastic science teachers. So more power and love to you, my science teachers, okay? More honor and love to you, okay? So, I was only able to afford a semester, and I said, let me come. I have to come back. Um, so anyway, during that time when I came back, I was still like in between what I wanted to do in life. I said, I am not mad at you, but what do you want to learn? Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. What do I want in life? Um, Very good question. That is the $1 million question. What do I want in life? Well, I think it's more with me when I'm learning about myself. See, I call this channel Spirit Journey because I am on a journey. And each phase in my life was an important phase because it's teaching me about life. And what I am is a student. I am a student in heart. I am an information gatherer. And I think that's what I really am. But I thought in life that I'm about, oh, I gotta select an occupation, that we are our occupation. See, that's what I thought. So when I came back from going away to school and I was back with my folks and have to now find another job and go back to school. So um, in me, I see in the discovery of learning about myself, because I am a mystery to myself. And I remember in high school, I had an art class, and we were told to draw a picture of ourselves, and I did. And it came out nice. I did a profile of myself, and in the center of my face, I put a big question mark. I don't know who I am. And I think my life is to discover who I really am. And I think what I'm getting into with this video is uh, to share with you that we are not an occupation. We are all creatures here to discover life. And that's my answer, Kendrick. Yeah, we are not we are individuals who are expressing themselves and could express ourselves infinitely. That's who we are. But some of us have a passion for one or two things. My passion is really discovery. So I came back home and I had to go, I wanted to go back to school. See, that was the program. See, we are programmed. And part of my programming was, oh, okay, um, just go back to school. Everybody goes to college, right? Yeah, we got more colleges here in New York City than you can shake a stick. And so I didn't really want to go back to uh, Hunter College, where I started out from, which was a fun institution back then. But I had um, the bug in me, the art bug in me, because I was exposed to that department up in that other school, and I didn't do well in science. Like here, my high school, I did well in science, but when I entered college, I wasn't doing well. And I got confused. I said, wait a minute, I was supposed to be a science major, maybe go into medicine. See, even to go be a doctor or even a scientist, you need discipline. And I didn't have it. I didn't have it. I didn't have enough. I was very distracted. And this is also what this video is about. People who got distracted, like myself. And that's why I thank those artists out there who didn't give up. And about the artist who is an artist. And that's what I'm getting into, because you have people out there where I live who are not artists, but are rapists of the arts. They spit on art. And so I'm getting to that point. With my videos are kind of long-winded, but I always try to give a foundation so that you can appreciate the answer. Okay, and I don't mean to talk a little harshly. I'm just passionate about what I want to share with you, and to really in this video to thank those true artists out there. Well, I went to um, this school called FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, and they had a continuing ed program in jewelry in the city. Yeah, I love New York City. Always love New York City. FIT is on 27th Street and 7th Avenue. Okay. Oh, can I ask you have something? I you could elaborate. I'm not sure what you're asking, but it's all good out there. It's all good. Yeah, yeah. So I was like uh in limbo. I wasn't sure what I wanted. See, when I first started college, I thought I wanted to be a scientist. I love science. I had these fantastic science teachers in high school. So I just thought I was going to go into science in college. But I didn't do well. I said, how could this happen? I didn't do well. So if you're not doing well in something, you're not going to stay in it, right? So I said, hey, what do I do? Well, I was exposed to art at the other college. They had a really great art program. And again, I was exposed to art at home. My father had a little shop in where we lived. So I was, um, interested. I had that bug in me that wanted to be expressed. So I said, hey, let me express it here on my terms. I was a little stubborn. Me and my father didn't get along. We didn't get along, and it was not a good environment. Let me just say it that way. So, oops, sorry. So, so part of me was stubborn, um, and I felt like he was trying to control me, uh, and I couldn't breathe. Um, we were clashing heads. See, I don't mind. I mean, I think I would have naturally gone into art. I think if our relationship was a little better, I think a daughter would naturally just if your daddy wants her to go in a particular field, she'd probably say sure, because you want to please your folks. But our relationship was very caustic. And so part of me really wanted to go into art as well. So on my terms, since now I was a little older, I was 19, and I applied to the school, their continuing ed program in the the jewelry department. They have a fantastic, at least at that time, this is 1983, their spring semester, and I took some jewelry classes. Okay, I see that someone deleted a message. Yeah, so I took this jewelry class. I took the works. I took, oh, of course, you can ask me something. Yeah, and if it's a personal question, you could email me. Yeah, it's always good. You can email me if it's something um, personal. Yeah, that the name of the email is spiritofazalea@gmail.com. The link is in my about page, to get the name, the spelling of it, if you need to, okay? Um, so I took the works. I took a what do you call it, rendering class. Rendering that has to do with like when you draw something to paint it to make it look real. So jewelry rendering, wax carving. What else? I think those two. But it was a fun class. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The rendering class, I had to learn how to draw diamonds, rubies, things like that, and how to make it look real. It was a fun class. And we had a teacher, yeah, it was a French guy. He probably was in his late 40s, 50s. He was a European, heavy French accent. And he had a guest come to class. It was an Indian man, a man from India. And he worked uh, in the jewelry industry. And see, this was an honest Frenchman. See, a lot, um, some people out there are not honest, but this was an honest teacher, Frenchman. Because the French have an arrogance about them. Some of the French people in Europe have an arrogance, and they want you to think that everything that is made is French. But this was an honest Frenchman, and he said that this person, um, he designs a lot of the artwork, a lot of the jewelry, and not the French. Yeah, I give him honor and praise right now, that teacher, for speaking truth. See, I love truth. I don't have to like it, but he was very, very truthful, that French teacher with his heavy French accent. And he brought this guest in. They're all about the same age back then. Again, I was a teenager. I was 19. Um, and these are my seniors, people old enough to be my parents. And this man from India, he was a master designer of jewelry, high end jewelry. And he can draw almost three dimensional. Make something, a piece look three dimensional. Yeah, he can draw that well. And he painted it. And, so, because we were learning the techniques of painting, rendering jewelry. Because, see, before a piece is made, it has to be designed. You need a designer, and you need a master designer. And everything is to specification. Everything is measured. This guy had so much skill. See, that piece that he showed us in classroom is to the dimensions of the actual thing to be designed. Everything. It was exquisite. And he was very modest, the Indian guy. He was, he wasn't all puffed up, but he was in modesty. See, a true artist can be modest. And you have other people give you accolades. See, a true artist doesn't have to show off because he has people giving him or her accolades of approval. And, it's something else, people. So he had him there. And it's also to encourage us as little students, that we can do it too. So that was that. And I did the semester there. And okay, almost forgot the point. Yeah, so I said, hey, I know what I'll do. You know, I'll go get an apprentice job in the city, be an apprentice, entry level. So I went in the Yellow Pages. Yeah, the Yellow Pages back then was a thick book. The pages were yellow, and it was the business Yellow Pages. It's a telephone book. We didn't have cell phones back then. It was a book of telephone numbers for businesses in New York City. And so I would look through it, and I went under the jewelry manufacturing, and I got a name. And so now I'm a black girl, a teenager, and this is in 1983. And again, I'm from I'm not from the South. I'm not from segregated South. I was born and raised in the North, and of Caribbean ancestry. So we don't all know. We don't. We may not fully understand about racism. Yes, there's racism and a lot of it in the West Indies. Okay, I'm not going to lie about that. There's colorism and about social class in the West Indies. But in the United States, it's outright racism and hatred. Okay, but see, I don't come out from that background, and I'm just a northerner who's just, trying to make their way in life. And I naively, this is the point of this video, I naively went to a place. They were a manufacturer of jewelry. So I wore a little dress and I had my little resume. I'm not trying to trivialize myself, but I was very extremely naive. And I knocked on that door. And see, I was bold. I don't want to say that I was bold. I just didn't know. For me now, for me to do what I did back then as a teenager, I consider that now very bold. But no, it wasn't bold. I was just naive. And so I knock on the door, and this grumpy old Jewish guy opens up the door, and he yelled at me, "What do you want?" Blah. He's yelling at me, and I had that. And back then, I was very shy. I was extremely timid. I was very, very skinny too. I was a very skinny girl with big eyes, you know, and I had my little resume. I said, "Oh, excuse me, I have my resume, and I want to clown." He slammed the door in my face. So I knocked again. And he opens up the door. I think he opened the door again. He opened the door and what do you want? He just yelled. He was trying to intimidate me. But I naively just trying to communicate what I wanted. That I got the name from the yellow pages, and I'm interested in being an apprentice, and the shop right next to his, well, I should say the door next to his. He opens up. He sees what's going on. So this is what they do in the bigots do in New York City. They think they're slick. So he wanted to get the guy off the hook. So he's going to walk in between us, and so the guy could then conveniently slam the door. That's what he did that for. And he slammed that door again and never opened. So I'm like bewildered. I mean, it's kind of funny now. I talked to a family member about it. Yeah, that family member still remembers the incident. And I took a look at my life. I said, "Wow, is this what it's all about? To learn to become a jeweler and apprentice. See, back in the day, people got apprenticeships. That's how it was. It was handed down from parent to child, and you have an apprentice that might have come in and learn from the bottom up. See, I was old school at heart. I'm an old-fashioned girl at heart, and I thought that's what you did. And yes, in the old days, yes, but now, see, in New York City, people aren't necessarily going into the business that their folks do. People are coming from all over the world and wanting to start their big break in this city, and things were very guarded, things were very protected. And so this man sees me, this older Ashkenazi looking fellow, doesn't know me, and thinks we're socially segregated. People of different races and ethnicities did not associate on any level unless you're cleaning their shoes. They don't like you, they don't want you around unless you're there to serve them. If you're a person of color, let me be more blunt, a black person. Yeah, and you'll know in New York City if you're a black person when you go in there and see how you're treated. Okay, this is the early 80s in New York City. and it kind of shook me up. Yeah, I was very timid back then. True that I could have just maybe somehow learn on the side, or maybe talk to my professor and say, hey, this happened to me. I really want to I see in hindsight what I could have done and talk to my team. But those days, I just felt, oh, well, you know, I avoided confrontation. I was afraid of loud noise. Uh, but I see in hindsight as an adult, I'll be 60 this year. Yeah, my birthday is in December. So, but I see now, um, maybe I could have talked to my professor. And I thought, wow, is this field closed for me, closed off to me? So, I finished this semester at the school. I love making things with my hands. So I went back to my old school at Hunter, you know, trying to finish. I got distracted, and then I had to look for a job. Yeah, yeah, it was a very. It kind of shook me up, and I felt I had to do something. Yeah, I never told anyone else in my family what happened. Um, yeah, I handled things by myself on my own, but yeah, it's just coming to me now. I could have talked to my professor if I really wanted it, but I was afraid of big people slash adults. I was afraid of them. And that he that man, that manufacturer, that was probably a family, small family owned business from Russia or Poland or something like that, Ukraine, and they're guarded. You remember they had World War II in Europe, and so they're afraid of foreigners and they're afraid of black people. Yeah, there was a lot of propaganda against black people back then. Yeah, you had black people who went to school. You had black people who were professionals. They were honest people. They didn't have the crack back then. They didn't have the rap music back then. Everybody was just trying to find their niche in life. And I was one of many black people who are just trying to find out where they fit in this big thing called New York City. So, so fast forward. I live in the city now, and there are people in fields like, okay, so here I tried to enter the jewelry field of fine art, fine jewelry at the age of 19, and got that type of reception. And then, yeah, see, people generally, occupations were uh, handed down from parent to child primarily. And um, so outsiders really weren't welcome because it is protected. And you have people in the art world who steal each other's work. You have a lot of theft, a lot of people stealing um, people's, how do you say, designs and technique. Okay, you have that. So, people may not appreciate, people today do not appreciate the arts, the real artists. You have real artists out there, but you have people, young people, that's what I'm getting at now. Young people who are now given an opportunity to enter fields that historically they were not allowed in, or fields in the district like New York City. You didn't have blacks doing certain occupations. After the war, after World War II, in New York City, people basically, you just do what, you had a lot of immigrants and people just did the work what their folks did. But for black New York City, in my opinion, um, we were not allowed a lot of opportunity. Again, if you're black from the Americas, whether the West Indies, whether Central or South America, your probable occupation was domestic work. If you lived in the country, handling livestock, okay? So that's pretty much it. So New York City, by the time, you know, after World War II, you did not have a lot of farms here in New York City, right? So you're not going to do being a farmhand. So what are you going to do? So for the women primarily, they did domestic work, and there was factory work, manufacturing of like clothes or things like that. But that generally they used females, and the men did physical labor. Uh, my grandfather, one grandfather did cooking. He worked in restaurants. He worked on a ship, and my other grandpa, he worked as a super. He did repairs in the apartment. That's what he did. That's basically what black people could do. Okay, black men. So you were very limited because you were outnumbered by a lot of white people. And if you're Asian, it wasn't a lot of Asians back then either. Only I think in the 1970s they started allowing people from Asia into the United States. Okay, so prior it was just really a black and white world in New York City. Okay, you're a black person from the South, or you're a black person from the West Indies, or a black person from Latin America. That basically was it. And white people did occupations that their folks taught them to do. And maybe you had some entrepreneurs who were, you know, want to create a new business for themselves. But basically, this is what it was. And so now, I noticed there was a trend, like in New York City, where I live, what you're looking at right now. That this is New York City, and you had businesses. Okay, I, many of you know I have little dogs. I got my first little. I have three dogs, and I got the first of the three, um, 12, or going on 13 years. Let's see, 12 and a half years ago. And when I got my dog, you had, pet, groomers. And yeah, there was a pet shop near the college I went to, Hunter, on Lexington Avenue in the 50s. Yeah, my school was in the 60s in Lexington, and I used to walk to the subway, and I would walk past that shop, the little pet shop, and they groomed dogs there too. Little dogs, little Fifi dogs, they specialized there. I remember, and the business is still there. And yes, it got a competition a block away, but this store was the store to go to for the wealthy, white wealthy people on the east side of Manhattan. And back then, they did not have any black people, not even a Puerto Rican, not even a Hispanic of any type, not even an Asian of any type. They were strictly white people from Europe, Europeans, and they sold dogs and they did everything. Well, that school of people, the new immigrant from Europe, they're out of the business. They're not in it. And so now you need someone to do the business, to do something, to groom the dogs and stuff like that. So guess who does that now? This is the beef they have. So guess who's doing it now? All those people who were not allowed in who didn't do, I shouldn't say that weren't allowed, but it just historically wasn't them to do. They didn't have a parent that was a dog groomer, things like that. Um, so you have a lot of young people who live in New York City, a lot. The schools aren't preparing these blacks and Afro Latinos and Afro-Caribbean type people. Yeah, that's the largest group now in New York City. People from the Caribbean, the Spanish West Indies. They are the largest ethnic group in New York City. And so you have a whole new demographics now. And okay, yes, they live in poverty, many of us. The schools don't really teach you to be college bound. They don't teach you the sciences, the math, and all that. They don't want to teach you. They don't want you in the business of science, of money, of thinking. They have Asians and Eastern Europeans to do that. Okay, that's why they bring them into New York City to fill those spots. And so the underclass, uh, black, the West Indian, the Hispanic from the Caribbean, they are, you have to have some work for them to do. So what do they teach them? Oh, we're going to have like a school, a trade school. They have trade schools for this demographics. And what are some of the trades? Oh, I know. How to groom a dog. Okay. So you got these people that are, from impoverished neighborhoods, from physically violent neighborhoods, who only know violence, who know trickery, and just puke. And then now they're going to they have to train them to do something here. You can train them how to, you know, they're even going out on the street, rolling a joint. Now you have all these so-called minorities, on the street with their what we call joints, their marijuana cigarettes, and they roll them right there and selling them on the street like that. Mm. This is what it is. And so, well, you got some of these people that want to learn how to groom dogs, and they have no work ethic. This is the beef where I'm getting at. They have no work ethic. I brought my dog, my special little dog, my shy one, Lilac, the Shih Tzu. She's afraid for mommy to cut her toenails, and I don't blame her. So, and I really didn't want to traumatize my dog, and so I brought the dog to a dog groomer. It's a store, a giant outlet. They have multiple outlets in the city. I'm not going to give the name, but what shitty work they did. Now, I go down there. Because I made the appointment already over the phone, and I had talked to the manager, and I said, "Look, I need a good groomer there. My good little girl, she's scared, and blah blah blah." And he said, "Well, he said, well, look, I used to be one of the groomers here, but now I'm a manager. I recommend so and so doing your dog. She's really good, blah blah blah." So I said, "Okay." So I had a morning appointment. I go down there, and this is where the fuck up starts. They didn't tell me at first. So, I have the dog, and I'm early. And the woman there that greeted me at the desk was pleasant. And, she's dressed very like a punk rocker, you know. But, you're not supposed to judge. And she seemed like she had a nice heart inside. But, she's not dressed professional. But either way. So, I was to give the last notes about the dog. They had to get particulars about the dog before I leave. Yeah, I was to just leave the dog and walk away, but something said, something kept me there a little longer. And that's when the truth came out. That person that I made an appointment with was not there. And actually, she was just going to leave the door. wanted me initially just to leave the dog and go and just come back after a few hours. Well, I'm glad that there was a conversation that started, and uh, the lady in question had just called up that she would be late. And then it turned out that not only was she going to be late, she had to return back home because she forgot her tools. Did you hear me? The professional left her tools home. So she had to go back home. And she, of course, was living in the Bronx. Okay. And this place is in the downtown, lower Manhattan. So she got a like 2 hour ride. I said, oh my God. So the lady that greeted me at the at the door, she says, well, she says, look, so and so, she told me what happened to so and so, what I just told you. But she said, well, you're here, I can do it since I'm on call right now. So I'll groom your dog. So I said, okay, and I get back, you know, um, she didn't do she didn't cut the toenail. And that's the reason why I brought the dog, to get the toenails done. My dog was in terror, But I'm trying to, because the lady cut the hair. I did give her a poetic license on how to cut, do a cute little cut on it. Well, see, this is the problem with the kids today, the teens and the 20-year-olds, that they lack professionalism. Now, I told you my dog needed toes. You did everything else but what you really needed to do, the toenails. I said, could you trim the toe? Because she put the dogs on my arms. And it did, she did a cute little cut she painted the dog. I didn't know she was going to do that. She painted the dog multiple colors. So you're noticing the colors on the dog and not the details. And she didn't shave the dog well. It was very amateurish. She thinks being an artist is being flamboyant. Yeah, she was one of those punk rockers, Hispanic, very light skinned Hispanic from the islands. She was sweet. I liked her though. I liked her, even though she tried to put a persona, aggressive persona with the colored hair and the shaved head and all that, you know. But I liked. I saw inside she was a softie at heart. But softie or not, be a professional. Her being a professional, she should have focused on that which was the toe. Get the toes done, because that's why, as I said, she's terrified. She needs this done, and she needs her ears done also. Those things she didn't do, but she wants to be the artiste and do everything else. But what I paid for her to do, and I didn't want to be confrontational, but I left feeling like, when I got home, that's when I really saw what was it done. And I was angry. And I remember at another shop, this was early in my days when I got the dog. So this is about 12 years ago, this other incident. The recent incident with the punk rock girl, Hispanic girl, that happened in January, this past January. And also with they have a sheet of paper, not a sheet, something on the wall of all the people that they have worked there. They had a photo and their name and their title. Well, did you know that they call themselves a stylist? See that? See, you want to get the title, but not the skill. All of them were called stylists. To be a stylist, like I did mention in past videos, I went to cosmetology school. And even when you graduate from a cosmetology school, you do not call yourself a stylist. A stylist is a title that you earn, and you have to have extra training, and then you get your certificate. So you could legally call yourself a stylist. These fucking new students, imbeciles, are calling themselves stylists. They are not stylists. They are students of the art of dog or pet grooming. They lack the maturity. When I saw that thing, I didn't see the thing when I first went in there, but I get my food, my dog food in there also. And that's where I saw the sign, the chart of all the groomers and dog washers. So probably what they do there, like they have the, oh God, what do you call them? Well, what I gather, I guess when you graduate from the doggy school, whatever, you can call yourself a stylist. But while you're in school, they call you a dog washer. You wash, okay? So I was angry. See, I entered cosmetology school, and no, I did not graduate. I left the school after 1 year. I worked in the field and went to school at the same time because I wanted to really make sure that this was going to be right for me. And I said, this is a very biased industry. I'm a black woman, but they're not teaching black hair care. I'm being discriminated against and mistreated for what I am. And I felt that I would be doing black people an injustice because I wasn't really trained how to do their hair. And I didn't want to hurt anybody. I said, this is here, I'm paying good money, and they're segregating and they're being discriminatory in the field. And I said, look, I'm out of here. That's what happened in the hair industry. But now going back with the doggies, the little cute little dogs. Oh boy, but I have to hurry here. I didn't mean to stay on this long. But see, it's very important, this message. You have a bunch of young people here in New York City who really are aimless, are they, and they have no work ethic. They have no sense of real pride about, and they don't appreciate what they're given. And that's a big problem in America. They have no sense of gratitude for what they do have. You have to have gratitude with what you do have because that is what you're going to multiply. So they got all these students, these wannabe stylists who um, who don't respect the field of dog grooming and want to call themselves a fucking stylist, and you don't even clean the ears or do the toenails, and that what I requested, and then you're not going to be there for your appointment. You're not going to be there. It's another. See, that's another thing. When you have, you have a lot of blacks who go in these businesses. Like I also used to do nails professionally. Yeah, one of the few black nail people in New York City. Almost 40 years. What was that? 30 plus years ago. And so, like 7 years ago, I went to get my nails done. This new technique. And of course, a black girl comes late working for a Jewish lady. She was nice. The Jewish lady was nice to me. Yeah, I was studying Judaism at that time. Yes, I was. I'm on my journey, I tried different things. And so me and the lady were talking about, my interests and everything and other things. She liked that I knew the terminology of certain things, and she loved it. And we had a great conversation. She was a good lady, good Jewish lady, and gave these so-called minorities a chance. And I had a Brazilian girl do me, a real problematic girl, very immature. Yeah, she a lighter skinned black Brazilian. Um, she looked like she was from the islands, but she was from Brazil. Very immature. And then the black girl, black American girl comes in. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. Oh, I got sick. Oh, could I eat my lunch now? I kid you not. The lady was seething mad. See, they don't appreciate what they have. They view the new help in New York City, the new minority help, primarily Black America, West Indies, some West Indians, and Hispanics from the islands. A very poor work ethic, and some are given opportunities to go in industry like being a nail technician or dog groomer, and they're gonna fuck up. They're often late, and they make excuses, and then, oh, could I have my lunch now? You just walked in. I was so embarrassed for her. I didn't say one thing. I was on my way out when that happened. Yeah, they were finishing up my nails. I was getting my nails done. Yeah, and a lot of the so-called new minorities in these fields that were historically not, that they weren't in, they want to challenge the customer, acting like a fucking street urchin. You don't challenge the customer or get into business, their business, to insult them. See, that's another no-no that a lot of you, we think we're cool. See, we don't respect other our black clients or Hispanic clients. We don't. We act like street people, and we act like we want to, like it's gang warfare. That person is not a gangster. That person is a client for you to do their service. But no, and we're going to be our own demise. And why I say it like that is this. Well, during the early days of my, when I just got my dogs, again, it's 12 years, over 12 years since I had my dogs. I went to another groomer. It was, I think the owner was a black lady. She had like this strawberry, like a reddish type hair and freckles. She was a light skinned black lady, a middle, in her 40s, 50s. Um, I think she was a little older than me at the time. Yeah, I was in my 40s. So she could have been in her late 40s, early 50s. Yeah. And they sold dogs and they also groomed dogs. They're no longer here, I might add. But she had this stupid ass black guy, um, tiny, just an urban trash. Okay, I'm saying it. So I told them, I said, look, this dog here has these stains in the eye. A lot of breeds, like the light colored breeds, their tears stain their eyes. The hair around the eye, and it looked awful on her. I said, I'm trying to get the stain out. Are you sure you're able to do this? And I groomed my own dog, but I couldn't get the stain out. So I wanted to go to a professional. I thought, let's just go to a professional to get it removed or whatever they can do. So he's a fucking smartass. I know I shouldn't use these words. I apologize. Um, so this young kid, 20-something year old, fucking trash, and I said, I was just speaking because I was concerned. I said, look, will you be able to get it out? I can't get it out. He says, well, you don't have the same tools that we have here. So I said, oh, so you'll be able to get it out. Well, I went back to get my dog, and they didn't get it out because it can't be getting out. It's a stain, but what they can do, they cover it up with baby powder. That's not getting it out, and that's not being honest. Well, uh, well, that business is out of business now. See, you have people who try to make promises. You get these young dudes in the engine. You know how many black guys are in, black American guys are in the dog grooming? Hardly any. They don't want you in the business. They don't want you in the job. That whole business closed up because she has people working for it. See, she can only hire what's available. And what's available now in New York City is trash. Trash. That's what work. That's who they have selection. So when they're in those schools and they, have to do the internship, you got trash out there, and they don't care for the animal. I went to that same high-end shop, that place right near Hunter College. It was the only one in town, in that area, because it had all the clients, all the rich white clients on Lexington Avenue in the 50s. They're still there, the last time I saw. But of course, the different people working there, of course. Well, again, I went in there just to take a look. It was just before I got my dog. So this is over 12 years ago. So this could be 13 years ago. And I went, I just, I was just curious because it's been like over 20 years since I've been in the area. And I was just, wanted to enjoy myself and look at the little doggies. So I went in there, and guess who we got working in there? Other black and Hispanic trash right in that fucking store. This was the top store of the top store. And they had a, a darker skinned Puerto Rican girl in there. And she's watching a sick dog. It was a Frenchie, those French bulldogs. And it had a pee-pee. One of them had a pee-pee. And the dog pee-peed, and it went inside the ear of this sick dog. They had two or three dogs in there. And one of the dogs was sick. It had red eyes. No wonder I got red eyes. The other dog peed on, and it went in the ear. Oh, and the Hispanic girl thought this was hilarious. She takes out her cell phone and film what happened. I looked at this piece of shit. This animal's sick. You take it out. Take it out the cage so you can clean it. This thing could cause an infection. An infection, this piece of shit that's in there. This is who they have in there. How many black Puerto Ricans work in this industry? Not that many back then. But now, all in there now. See, Hispanics from the islands are the largest ethnic group in the city, and very poor, many of us. Many of us are poor, whether you're black, non-Hispanic black, Caribbean. We're modest income people, right? And you're in the nude industry, and you're gonna fuck up. And no, I didn't tell anybody what I saw. I didn't tell the owner or the manager. I got out of that store. I would never buy from that store. This was the top store in the city. And they got this piece of crap working for them, ruining their reputation, their personal. That store's been there for over 40 fucking years. And you got this Hispanic trash from the islands working for them. That's what's in New York City. And God forbid, if something happened, they're going to use the minority card and say, oh, they're just prejudiced against me. They just said it against me. Mira, they did it, right? That's what they're gonna say. Not that they fucked up, and rather than getting the animal out of the cage to clean the air out because the dog got urine in the air, and it's sick. The eyes were red. It had a cold or something. That's a sick animal. And that sick animal could infect the other animals. This is a high end dog. The Frenchies are expensive. She works in there and she's not protecting the goods of her, of the company she's working for. Because, see, she has a poor mind. So you have a lot of poor-minded people from the islands, from the south. Yeah, my background's from the islands. I'm old school. My grandparents came to America about 96 years ago. About 96 years ago, they came to America. But we had a different mindset back then. 90 something years ago, people worked and people protected where they worked. That's their bread and butter. See, she doesn't care about the true bread and butter of it, what it takes to work, because you just go on fucking welfare. Fucking welfare queen. That's their mentality. Oh, I don't have to work. And if I lose a job, I just go on welfare. See, this is what is in America and what's in New York City. God help us. Please, God help us in New York City. We are filled with trashy people, trashy mentality. I didn't know I was going to say a lot of this. And again, if I offend anybody, I apologize for my uses of language, but I use this language sometimes. I never used to use this type of language. I was a real soft spoken person. I didn't want to upset people. But people upset me. People upset me, and I'm expressing myself of the evil that I see that's being done to animals. And the people who use the race card, they use the race card for inept performance. See, we all learn, just like that artist, that jeweler that I mentioned, the fine artist. His work is superb. Pablo, thank you for your beautiful work. Your Pablo is a master craftsman in jewelry making. The tools of his trades are his hands and his equipment. But you got these welfare queens from the West Indies, from the Hispanic islands, who are a piece of shit, some of them. Yes, my background's from the islands. I talk to myself too. I'm talking about all of us. Whether you're Spanish speaking, French speaking, English speaking, Creole speaking, we are all fucking trash in their eyes. And many of us do trashy work. We have no work ethic. We wake up when we feel like waking up. We go to work when we feel like going to work. You just arrive, okay, you take your break. This is the work ethic that we're being taught. And our city is going down the drain. We are going down the drain fast. We have no work ethic. And it goes, not only does this work ethic, it doesn't stop there. It's in the medical field. God forbid. Oh my God. Go in the medical field. You have the same trash that are in the dog grooming or the nail technicians from the island. They're also in the medical field. Like, what do you call it? A nurse's aide. Oh, God forbid you get one of us as a nurse's aide. Some black trash, Hispanic trash from the islands. God forbid. I know this sounds racist. God forbid you get one of them in there. Did I tell you what happened when I had a surgery? It was right after my father's death. And you get this fat ass black woman. and she has to use this implement to. I'm going to be very tactful. I had a surgery in my uterus, and they had I had a catheter, and she has to carefully rinse down there. Well, this lady's getting a hard on, and I couldn't believe what she was doing. And then she puts me in the middle of the room, uh, away from everything, so you can't grab on, you can't get on the bed, you can't. You're in the middle of the room. Oh, she says, "Oh, I'll be right back." I said, "No, no, please don't close the door." Clunk. She closes the door, and when you have surgery in your abdomen, they have to let you stand up to make sure that nothing falls out, and other things. But now I have to go pee pee. Well, the only thing that was near me in the middle of the room was a garbage can, and I had to pee in there. It was like an urgency. When you have surgery, because your bladder's not working. And then it all of a sudden might get stimulated and work. And, well, it was an emergency. And I did it in the garbage can. And then she strolls back in, this piece of fat ass piece of shit comes in. And I said, "Miss, you closed the door, and I was trying to get you to." It says, "I had to pee, and I had to go what do you call it, the garbage can." She says, "Oh, all right. Well, I leave in 19 minutes, so I'll let the next person do it." And she walks out the room. This is the type of black trash. Those fat ass. She was a fat woman, a fat black woman, a nurse's aide. This is what works in your medical field. Aloha to you too. Yeah, this is what is in there. So you got the black trash from the urban area. You got the Hispanic trash from the islands. And what else? You got the West Indian Anglophones that might think that they're too good to do anything because they come from a respectable family. But they can be late too for work. This is what happens. And then if anything happens, they're going to cry racism, and not that they were inept or lazy or filthy or unprofessional to their client. And then they get angry at the Asians, the Jews, and other white people, and they wonder why they're in poverty. Do I speak the truth, people? Am I speaking the truth? No one's being honest. No one. When I see a so-called minority in these fields going into retail, a retail store to buy outfit, God forbid you see one of those demographics in there. You don't know whether you're going to get beat up. I've seen that. I used to work downtown. Also, I worked in all these different industries here to try to find out where I fit. It is dangerous. They were fighting. I'm not going to give the name of the place, but a fist fight. These island girls, boy. Yeah, and they don't want to help you. They only want to help their own. They're racist themselves. Oh, you're not from my island. Oh, you don't speak Spanish. And they're going to try to sabotage you so they can get their friends in. This is the social climate here. The climate isn't what white people are doing to us so-called minorities. It's what minorities are doing to themselves. What are they doing to themselves? What are they doing to their craft? At one time in the 1980s, blacks weren't allowed to work in certain types of stores. It was unheard of to work in the boutique. A black person work in a boutique, they wouldn't allow it. They didn't even allow me to work in this store, this nail salon store uh, on Fifth Avenue. Yeah, I was being mistreated. I took my work seriously, people. I get there early. I dress neatly. I dress like a lady. I did my best. I was upfront about my skills. I said, I'm a student. I'm going to such and such cosmetology school. I'm eager to work. I want to learn about the field, blah, 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 blah. It's okay. I'll start you out. They didn't want me there. The other people, the whites, yeah, back then it was whites. You had white Europeans, and you had some Hispanics there. Oh, you had one Asian girl, and they didn't want me there. They were complaining about me. It was awful. And the woman there, the manager there, was a Jewish woman. She was nice. She liked me. And she said, I'll send you over to one of our better salons. And she called up the place. Hey, so-and-so, you need a nail technician? Oh, great, great, great. Oh, a black? Oh, 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 okay. Then she looks at me. Hey, so-and-so, could you step out the room for a moment? Because she had to talk to that lady. They didn't want black people working there. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened to me. And now you got all these people in these shops now. See, all the whites left. The whites left. The whites from the 1980s, they left. They left. Because now they don't have to do that type of work. They married, they had kids. Now they can afford to send their kids to college, and they improve themselves. They go from one level and then they elevate and go to a higher level. But now you got people, ethnic minorities from the ghetto, to do work, respectable work, that they don't appreciate. They don't appreciate it. So again, I appreciate you, Pablo. Yes, Pablo, a YouTuber with several million subscribers who does masterful work of jewelry making. And it was 3 months ago when I saw his work. I didn't realize it was that amount time. I thought it was much later. I've been watching so much stuff. My mind, my sense of time is off. It's really off these days. Yeah, I have no sense of time now. So yeah, and I only found out like someone wrote a comment about what I wrote to Pablo, the fine artist of jewelry making, and they were encouraging me um, based on what I shared with Pablo. And I thank the person who wrote the comment to me. They wrote it an hour before I got up, and so when I read the comment and uh, saw the video that I was responding to, I remembered about the person and how I was so impressed at his his respect. He is a man who respects his craft of jewelry making, fine jewelry making. This guy had equipment up their ass that you wouldn't believe. The cost. See, I used to work, to get tools like that. My father had some tools when he was just starting out. And to get tools like that, it's expensive. One little tool, one carving tool, is expensive to get the good one. It's expensive. These chicks out there, these fucking minority queens, they don't want to work. They just want to watch those dumb videos of those wannabe singers out there with no work ethic. They want everything instantaneous. They do not appreciate the craftsmanship and the time it takes. They want to be instant. They think just slapping on makeup makes them a professional. You look like a fucking clown. Some of you put on how you put on your makeup. God, I think sometimes their eyes are gonna. They put on these eye mascara. What do you call it? These eyelashes. You think they're gonna fly soon with those things on, and they think they're perfect. They look like clowns. And so here I'll be 60 years old in December, and watching Pablo's work, the fine artist of jewelry making, to be reminded that I watched his video 3 months ago, but it seems like last year, to be honest. I barely remember. Um, it just seemed really far away. But it wasn't. It was only 3 months ago that I saw the video. And I said, I have to do a video myself and write about what's happening today in America, in New York City. You have people who are allowed in an industry that we were once closed off or just not in. I shared earlier in this live stream that I wanted to go into the jewelry industry and to be a craftsperson. Yeah, I say craftsman. I'm not a sexist. I don't care. I wanted to be a craftsman of jewelry making. And I had gone to FIT to take a continuing ed class. And I shared early in this live stream what happened when I wanted to go and get an internship. What do you call it? I'm sorry, an apprenticeship at a random place in the city. And what happened to me? See, you haven't had doors closed down on you like that. See, now you're really protected by the law. And now we have, back then there wasn't as many black people around. There were a lot of white people back then. Now white people are pretty much the minority here. They're more non-whites than white people. Okay? So it was a different demographics. Things were more socially segregated. And now you have the opportunity to go to school. Many schools might have been off limits to black people or Hispanics from the West Indies. They didn't want us there. And now, because all the whites are leaving or retired, and now you need a new generation to do it. So now, hey, they want to get money. The schools, hey, we'll target the new minorities here. Trade schools. And they just don't care. The Hispanic girl from the islands, she didn't care when the dog peed on another dog. Oh, let me just get my camera and videotape it. They have no respect for the place they work. If I saw that, I would throw her out, and I'll probably call the ASPCA on her for cruelty to animals. To watch an animal who's sick, and that happening to, I would throw her out and press charges. That's what I would do. If I could legally do that to what I witnessed, I would have done that. Throw that piece of shit off the planet. No sense of respect and dignity for your work, what you do. And then you have people, honest black people, honest West Indian people, honest Hispanic people who want to do a good work, who come to work early, to set up their workstation early, to do a good work. I commend you, any of you who are true masters, who want to be a true master of the craft, who want to get in an industry that historically didn't allow you to. Or maybe you were just a new kid on the block, and hey, you see an industry that you like, that you want to go into. Many of us are not in industry simply because of what you were. Period. And what are you going to do? You're going to laugh at a poor animal who's in distress. You're going to do a customer who specifically said, hey, I'm having difficulty doing the dog's toes. She's very afraid and she needs her ears clean. And then you don't do it, but you're going to give a funky haircut and put paint on the dog. Because, see, that's what you're all about showing off. Oh, look at me. I could cut the dog, give a haircut and put a paint on the dog. But you overlook what was essential: getting the dog's toenails done, cleaning the ears done. Do you know they can get an infection in the ear if it's not done? But you're too important. I'm just the dumb minority from the islands. Oh, I'm a Hispanic girl. I'm just a dumb Hispanic, but trying to pass as white. Or let me just dress like this. Or maybe she won't notice that I didn't do the toes and the ears. This is what you get. God help New York City. God saved New York City from itself. These people are dangerous. Dangerous to you. So, yes, this was a rant. And yeah, this was a rant out, definitely. Yeah, thank you for giving me the thumbs up. I speak the truth. I speak the truth. I have passion in my heart for the so-called minority from the West Indies, from the Spanish West Indies, the new African that's here in New York City. I have I want the best for all of us. But you have some who are immature and they're making all of us look bad. They make all of us look bad out there. And then you're going to call the race card because you see an Asian or what do you call Asian or white person doing better. Uh-uh. I'll vouch for uh-uh. Nope. I'll expose you. See, I don't like liars. I don't like liars because, see, liars will lie on you. Deceivers would deceive anybody. They're not going to say, oh, I'm just going to deceive this person because they're not from my race or religion or my sorority, fraternity, neighborhood, the gang. No, they're going to be deceivers and criminals to anybody who they can get their hands on. And that's why I would expose them for their wicked behavior. These type of enemy are the enemy of all humanity. And that's what I'm speaking out against. I'm not speaking out against race and nationalities. I'm speaking out against criminal-minded people who hurt you, who then later use the race card to justify their lazy-ass behavior. When you're in the hospital and in a vulnerable position, and to have one of those creatures look at your look at your body parts and lathering at the mouth, and then leaving you behind in the middle of the room after you just had a surgery. They know you can't get up. The fat ass woman said, oh, well, she ain't going to go anywhere. I'm busy. I want to just do my thing. I just got a few more minutes until I have to go. That was so dangerous what she did. I could have fallen and hurt myself after the surgery. People, you have no fucking any conscience, any common sense. God forbid when I think about it. God forbid. Oh, when I told, then I had a family member call me, and I told her what happened. And that person called the head nurse or somebody there in the hospital and complained. And that was the first time my doctor came to see me. Yeah, even the doctors are corrupt. The medical doctors. She came in the room crying. or that had been crying, I should say. Yeah, she never saw me from the whole procedure, after the procedure. It was the next morning. Because I told the friend I haven't seen my doctor yet. I had the surgery. And that other lady left in the middle of the room for me to pee in the garbage can. So they were angry for me, and so they called the heads up in the hospital. Hey, this is what's happening to my relative. And you know what happened after that? Um, I was about to leave. Several hours had passed, maybe 8 or 10 hours had passed since then. And I was signed out by the doctor. And the new doctor on staff comes in, like, yeah, I had thrown up. Yeah, I had my clothes on, and then I violently started throwing up. And then the new doctor on call comes in. Oh, this is what she says. Oh, I thought you couldn't walk. Now, might be 10 hours later, okay? 10 hours, yeah, this was maybe 1 o'clock. And what happened around 6 o'clock, 5 or 6 o'clock. It was early. The shift was just coming on, you know. And this was, getting out of bed for the first time after abdominal surgery on my uterus. Okay, that's dangerous. So quite a lot of time passed, and so yes, now I'm on my feet. I have my relatives there helping me, and then I had yeah, I got violently sick. Vomit went everywhere. Did she say, "Oh my God, are you okay?" No, this is what she said. Oh, I was told you. Oh, so you can walk now. I thought you said you couldn't walk. So evidently, the nurses on staff who got the call complained to the doctor on call that I'm a troublemaker and that I couldn't walk. And shouldn't you be concerned that, hey, you have someone putting someone in the middle of the room after abdominal surgery, and you're going to abandon them and keep the door closed? Are you okay? No. She sided with that lazy, MFer like that. Yeah, and this is a major, major, major hospital. Major hospital in New York City. A private hospital. Yeah? So, yeah, even the doctors are corrupt. And I pray if you have to go to New York to a hospital here, you pray real hard to your higher power that you get someone with common sense and someone who loves human beings. Oh, it was frightening. These doctors are corrupt. Who would have ever thought a doctor would have just coming on board? Yeah, the new shift now is on, and so this is a new doctor on call. I didn't call that doctor in. Yeah, because you need a doctor to sign you out. Yeah, they had the papers to sign me out, and then, boom, I had to throw up real bad. Yeah, I had a bad reaction to the food. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to eat it. Again, that's another story in itself. But yeah, that's what happened, people. There's corruption. People don't care anymore. If you don't care, just stay at home. Don't work with people if that's your attitude. Be like Pablo, the guy in the video that I commented on, that started this whole live stream. Pablo, who I saw in his video about 3 months ago. He's a master craftsman in jewelry making. He makes diamond jewelry, and he showcased how he did his most expensive piece. It was a diamond ring. It was beautiful, beautifully done, and executed very well. The photography, the videography of the video was beautifully done. Yeah, so I give honor and tribute to people like Pablo and other artists out there, other true artists who are great at what they do. Yeah, I don't like to use the word master because it's bastardized, that term, to be a master. See, we want to be masters, but we don't want to put in the work. But he's a true master of his craft, and he stayed with it. I didn't stay in the jewelry making, but you know, a couple years ago, about well, about 6 years ago, I made a necklace, made with acorn seeds. I had that up. So those of you who want to see my little video, yeah, someone just saw my video recently, the video of mine making a necklace. Yeah, they just wrote a message the other day, and I answered them yesterday. They had a question about what drill I use. Yeah, so I have a little bit still in me, you know, craftsmanship in me a little bit, and I shared it on my channel. Yeah, I shared how to make a seeded necklace. Yeah, it was fun to do. So yes, those of you out there, I commend you. I congratulate you for sticking with the craft. I commend you who give an internship or, you know, to tutor young people just starting out who are mature minded and who want to follow in your footsteps. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do such work. I thank you all. I thank you. The true artists there, the true masters of the craft. Okay? So, those of you who like this content, um, you may wish to PayPal me if you like. To do so, just click on my channel, Spirit Journey, and on the right side of the banner, you'll see my PayPal me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompt, and any amount would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate you in advance for doing so. Peace, love, joy, and power, and true mastery of yourself. Until next time soon, this is Spirit Journey signing off. Thank you to allow me to share. Bye bye.